Hi, I'm Ray. I'm from the Rabbit Welfare Association and Fund. I've got 15 of my own rabbits at home. We also have pet dogs, hens, guinea pigs and ponies.
So I'm here with Ray from the RWAF. So what do you do?
Hi, we do two things. First of all, we're a club for rabbit owners, so we produce a magazine every quarter called Rabbiting On that goes out to our members, so that we try and keep our members up to date with all the latest health, welfare, behaviour developments and stories and any new research that comes along. Try and keep them all up to date, because they then go out and keep everyone else up to date as well, so that helps us to do our job. The other side is we're a registered charity. We're actually the largest charity in the UK dedicated to pet rabbits, and we're trying to campaign for better welfare standards basically, so not just in terms of campaigning in terms of legislation, but we're also trying to raise awareness and educate people about what rabbits really are, the most neglected pet in the UK.
So what is the minimum cage size for rabbits?
Do you know, the horrible thing is there isn't a legal minimum cage size for pet rabbits. There are for lab rabbits and there are for meat rabbits, but for pet rabbits there aren't, and a lot of the hutches that are for sale in shops now would be too small for lab rabbits and meat rabbits. We recommend a hutch of at least 6 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot, but as the jumper says, a hutch is never enough. It should always be attached to a safe exercise area as well. Even if it's indoors, you shouldn't keep them in an indoor cage. They should have a safe exercise area indoors too.
So is companionship important for rabbits?
Companionship is really important for them. There's actually been studies done that show that rabbits value companionship of another rabbit, and they will work as hard to access the companionship of another rabbit as they will for food. We wouldn't leave them without food. I love my rabbits. I'm not going to lick their eyes. I'm not going to lick their ears. Only another rabbit will do that. There are things that only rabbits and rabbits can provide that kind of relationship for each other. They do get lonely. They do feel stressed. It is scientifically proven. So we're not trying to make anyone feel guilty. We know people love their rabbits and their rabbits love them, but they need more. They need another rabbit to keep them company.
Is there anything you'd say to someone who wants to bring a rabbit home?
First of all, you've got to get everything right at home. So your rabbit needs to be neutered and you need to have enough space. And even today here at London Pet Show, we've been told lots of times, I haven't got room for another rabbit. You've got room for one rabbit, you've got room for 2 rabbits. If you haven't got enough room, you haven't got enough room for 1 rabbit. So as a general guide, we would say 10 foot by 6 foot. That's how much room you need all of the time. Not when you're there to let them out, not when you're there to supervise them, not when you get in from work. All of the time they need that space. So that's enough for 1 rabbit and 2 rabbits. So if you're doing it properly, for 1 rabbit, then you've got enough space for 2 rabbits. But you can't just think, I like the look of that rabbit, I'm going to bring him home. Your rabbit's got to be neutered, you've got to have the space. Go to a rescue centre, choose another rabbit that's already neutered, introduce them on neutral territory. So the rescue centres are great at helping people do that, helping you introduce and bonding them for you, and then you can bring them home.
So why is it important to neuter rabbits?
So that we can bond them so they can live together, but there are health reasons as well, especially for girl rabbits. 80% of them get uterine cancer, which could be fatal by the time they're 4 years old. So that's really, really life-threatening. They should live till they're 12, and we could lose them at 4 because we haven't neutered them. It's a lot of money to neuter them, but it's a one-off cost. And you should, hopefully, you've done your research and realise that you're going to have that cost. And that's the other great thing about a rescue centre. They're already neutered and vaccinated for you. And for boys, it's more really behaviour and positive behaviour effects rather than health benefits from neutering. But especially if we've got house rabbits and we want them to be litter trained, they definitely need to be neutered.
So why also do you recommend that people go to rescues rather than a pet shop?
There are 67,000 rabbits every year going through rescues. That's not including the rabbits that are sold online. That's not including rabbits that are given away to friends and families. So it's a crisis, it's an absolute crisis. We should be responsible and we should be doing what we can to help that crisis and not adding to it. There's a lot of problems. Some pet shops are great and they give good advice. We know some pet shops that don't sell rabbits, that will only sell them in pairs and sell the correct housing. But the fact of the matter is there are lots out there that aren't great, that will mix sex. The message is getting out to people that rabbits need companionship. They go to somewhere and get 2 rabbits. They think they've got 2 girls, and guess what? They've got 9 rabbits before they know it. So if they're already neutered and vaccinated from a rescue centre, you're not going to have that problem. It's not just adding to the animal welfare crisis in this country, it's actually, as an owner, a really awful, stressful situation to be in. What are you going to do with these baby rabbits? How are you going to find good homes for them? And you could have avoided all of that by going to a rescue centre in the first place. So we've got our Hutch is Not Enough campaign, and Rabbit Awareness Week this year has been one small hop. So even if your rabbits are already neutered, vaccinated and in a lovely big area, and there is nothing more you can do for your rabbits, they've already got a fantastic diet based on hay, they're healthy, you check them every day, there is something that you could probably do, perhaps not for your rabbits, but for someone else's rabbits. Get a Hop to It booklet, give it to somebody at school, give it to somebody at work, post it to somebody, put it through somebody's letterbox if you've seen that they have a rabbit they're perhaps not looking after properly. Help us spread the word.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
My name's Caroline Lord, and with my husband Paul Lord we invented Runaround, which is a connective system for keeping bunnies, which can be added onto any equipment you already have or just bought as it is. And we have 7 bunnies at home, and they're all named after animals, and they're all rescues, and they all live like this. And we are always reinventing and changing what we do and trying to make it better. Well, we made Runaround really because there wasn't a very good way to keep a rabbit. They were either in hutches that were too small and transferred to runs that were too small, and the runs and the hutches weren't normally linked. And it really started trying to make that link and trying to make it even longer so that a rabbit had a really long way to a run from his hutch. So he could be inside or outside just as we can, and he could choose what to do depending on the weather. And that was really how it all began. We started in 2007. We rescued some bunnies and started to make box sections to link runs and to hutches or sheds. And then we saw how it was working. It was working quite well, and we felt that we could protect an animal that should be free really, but give him enough freedom to maybe for a pet bunny to be satisfied, to be happy. And we kept increasing the sizes and seeing how it worked until it firmed up into something that seemed quite good, and we thought it could be sold and it could be shared with others for sure as a welfare thing. And we teamed up with the Rabbit Welfare and started to ask their opinion. And then we went to one of their conferences and got to learn an awful lot more about rabbits and what they ate and how you should look after them. And our system seemed to fit in with that very well. And it went on from there really, and then became a business. But really it started from a welfare point of view rather than a business. And in the first few years we didn't really make money. We were doing it for the love of it really.
So why is exercise so essential for rabbits?
Oh, well, rabbits naturally would run a long way every day. They would cover an area of several tennis courts, football fields. They'd have a burrows. They really would be well exercised, lean, fit animals. They're used to being on the go. They've got to flee from danger. They need to exercise to have that speed to flee from danger, to be themselves really. I just think that it's nice if people can do the very simplest thing, and that is link a hutch to a run if they keep a pet rabbit at all. And remember to try to keep them as naturally as possible. Have them on the grass if possible.
That's amazing, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
My name is Colleen Mullen. I'm a Swedish rabbit jumper. I have 22 rabbits, and this rabbit's name is Mikro.
So what brings you to the show today?
I've been here with my rabbits and showed rabbit jumping.
So how did you get into rabbit show jumping?
I started when I was 5 years old. My mother had rabbits, and then I started to jump with them to have fun. They like to jump, and I want to do something for them.
So what would you say to someone who wanted to get into rabbit show jumping?
Have a lot of patience and don't give up and give it time. The rabbits enjoy it, but don't every rabbit want to jump as high. So some don't want as much as others.
So how long does it take to train them?
It depends. This one I trained for almost a year. And then he was in the highest class and jumped the height that he showed this weekend. Others rabbits, they need more years, and others need a shorter time.
My name is Jason Medley, and I'm here with Burgess Pet Care, managing the Rabbit Grand National activity with the Swedish rabbits. Don't actually have a rabbit at home, I have a cat called Crumpet.
So what brings you to the show today?
And this is the third year that we've been here with Burgess Pet Care. We have done a lot with the rabbit jumpers from Sweden. We found out a few years ago that it was a sport in Sweden, and the girls here, they actually jump with the rabbits every weekend at home. So they go around, they have championships, and the girls between them have 55 rabbits, believe it or not, and they breed them specially to jump. So we've had 10 rounds over the 2 days, and probably 6,000 people have watched them jump, which has been amazing. I think you've just interviewed Karin with Micro, and the record for Micro was 11 seconds. So the whiz around the course here, we've taken it down now, but they whiz around the course and it was just brilliant, absolutely fantastic. We rest them in between because there's a welfare thing, but the rabbits absolutely love it. It's brilliant, and all the public do as well. The biggest question I've had asked is, what do I do with my rabbit at home? Can I jump them over these jumps? And we all say, well, they are natural jumpers, but just start on low things because they're obviously trained and fantastic in what they do. But it's just something to involve everybody at the show. It's a real spectacle. It shows that rabbits should be out there and have one of their welfare needs, which is their environment in the garden, and give them some sort of space to run and jump, as after all, they're natural jumpers.
Lovely, thank you very much.
Red Sun.